Hey everybody, welcome in. First video in a long time. Glad to see you again, even though can't see you. You can see me though. If you look in the lower right hand corner, hey, here I am. Okay, so we're talking about functions in Python, and hopefully you're watching this after our first class of the week. If not, this is going to be somewhat confusing, so I would encourage you to stop and wait for our first class. But if not, push forward and I'll help you out with this. So a function in Python, it requires you to write a def statement defining the function. And let's stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. Let's stick with good old f of x just for right now. So if I do like def f, and then in here let me put x for instance, and then put a little colon here. Just like our if statements, our while loops, our for loops, we end with a colon, and when you do that, it tabs in. So from here, I'm just going to do something very simple, like I'm going to take x and maybe do like x squared plus 1. Okay. So if I say the keyword return, see how return, boo, it turns orange. And if I do x squared, of course, remember, we can't do x squared. Doesn't work in Python. You have to do x times x, and then plus 1. That will take a value of x and add 1 to it. We've just defined a function. And so now down here in my program, if I say something like x equals int input, please enter x. Close that off. And then if I want to calculate f of x, I can do it equal to a variable. I can print it. So let's just do that. Let's say I'm going to print f of x. So in theory, what should happen here, I kept the program pretty short and sweet. I'm going to take a number, send it in to f of x. It should square it and add 1. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's just run this thing real quick. If I say 4, so what should happen here as a preview, 4 squared plus 1 will be 17. 4 times 2, or 4 squared is 16, plus 1 is 17, so does that give it to me? It does. So you can create your own functions in Python. Typically, you want to put them sort of off on their lonesome. Like you don't want to mix them into your program. That'd be sort of silly. So a lot of times people put them up at the top. I could move them down here. And if I do this, check out what happens. 4. Doesn't like that. Why? Well, rules of variables. You're trying to access f, but you haven't yet defined it. Remember, your programs do go sequentially, top to bottom. So, you can mix and match where you put it, but you can't put it below where you can't put a call to it. You can't talk about the function. You can't use the function until you defined it. So the best practice is to put it at the top. Put your functions at the top. Let's do another one. I'm going to do def, and this time let's change it up a little bit. Let's do something like, let's calculate, let's see, hypotenuse. Send in A and B. Ooh, you can send in more than one thing. Okay, so in math, you send in a variable. Here in computers, you can send in multiple things. Let's try this one out. If I say, return the square root of a squared plus b squared. So, sqrt a times a plus b times b. And then come down here. If I say a equals int input, please enter a. B equals int input, please enter b. And then print the hypotenuse of a and b. So that should give us, if I do like, let's say 3 and 4, it should give me 5. Let's check out what happens. So here's our other part, 3 and 4. And, oh, I forgot to do, hang on. Forgot to import. imports, let's say math. Oh, I messed it up again. Using, I'm thinking of Python. See, I'm over break. My brain's all scattered up. Gosh, I'm still messing up. I'm now using C++. Now you're getting inner workings to C++ and Java. This is what I get for trying to record videos for like all 3 classes in one night. Oh my gosh, my brain is jumbled from math import star. I apologize. There we go. I did 4 and 5. Oh my gosh, I need to stop this. Come on, settle down. 4, so that gives me 17. Now, if I do 3 and 4, it should be 5. Oh my gosh, what a pain in the neck. Yeah, so I apologize. Yeah, the problem was I tried to use square root without importing math, and then I tried to import math, which is how you say it in Java, and then I used the word using, which is from C++, so it's just, crazy times. Sorry about that. Let's do another one. So you're not like, oh my gosh, my teacher is going insane. Trust me, I am. Let's do another one. So we're using numbers here. There's nothing that says we need to use a number. Let's do something like def funny. I'm going to send in, let's say name. I'm going to return the name, and then is awesome. So if I send in Mr. Ensminger, it's going to say Mr. Ensminger is awesome. So it's just going to add my name to whatever you have here. So let's do this. Let's say name equals input, because we're not using an integer anymore. Enter your name, and then print funny name. So just like variables, you can name functions not just single letters. You can name them whatever you want. You can stick with single letters, but you don't have to. There's no rule that says you have to do that. So let's try this again. 3, 4, 5. Enter name, Mr. Ensminger. Mr. Ensminger is awesome. What good is that? Well, it's not at all, really. It's just a little funny thing. Right up here, I've done these functions with one line of code and the word return. But they're little programs basically. You don't have to necessarily stick with one line of code. You can do multiple lines of code. You can you don't have to return something. Let's just do a couple other examples. Let's say like def. Let's do this time. What's it do? Let's use some caps here. Def, what's it do? I'm not going to put anything in. I'm not going to send in anything at all. And we'll just say like, oh, what's it do? So if I do something like for n in range 10, I can say print n. So you can use if statements. You can use for loops. Whatever code we've done, you can just stick it in there like it's its own little program. So when I want to call the function here, call what's it do, let me come down here and say, hey, what's it do? And then put parentheses, because just like everything else, like you have f of x, it requires parentheses. Hypotenuse requires parentheses. Name requires parentheses. You still have to put it here, because if you didn't put it there, it would look like a variable, and you want it to be a function. So let me try it. So here, let's go with 4, 3, and 4, and Mr. Ensminger, and look, it just printed the numbers from 0 to 9, because in range 10, it's going to print 0 to 9. So you can have these functions do so many different tasks. And maybe you're thinking, well, what's the point? Well, the point of making a function is rather than having to code something over and over and over again, you can just make a function, then you can just say the name of it, almost like you're making your own command. So What I'm going to do, there's a great website out there. I'm going to show you the website. It's one of the things I actually sign up for at the very beginning of the year. In your second lesson this week, I'm going to have you go to this CodingBat website. It's called CodingBat.com. There's two tabs here, Java and Python. You obviously want to go into Python. Up in the top right corner at the beginning of the year, again, you should have made an account. You're forgiven if you didn't make an account. Just go up there and make an account quick. That way it saves you progress. Once you make an account, what I'd like you to do, we're going to go to warm up 1. Your assignment is going to be to do monkey trouble, sum double, difference 21, and pair trouble. So to do that, I'm going to get you started. I'm going to do this first one where it says sleep in. So each of these problems on here uses a function. So it's a great site to practice your functions on. I'll come down here. I'm going to make my font size bigger so you guys can see a little bit easier. Now, here's the thing. These warm-up problems, you can show the solution. Does that really help you learn anything? No, of course not. So don't just click on that. That'd be really stupid. So this is called sleep in. The parameter weekday is true if it's a weekday, and the parameter vacation is true if we're on vacation. We sleep in if it's not a weekday or we're on vacation. Return true if we sleep in. So right here, when we're talking about parameters, parameters are the thing you send into a function. So you're defining the function called sleep in, and it's a parameter called weekday, which is true or false based off of whether it's a weekday, and the vacation, true or false, whether you're on vacation or not. So in here, it could be false or true. These are words, these are booleans, the things that are true and false. I'm going to say a little if statement, just as an example quick. We'll say if weekday double equals true, then return true. Now, of course, this is not the solution by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just going to show you what happens. When I click go, it's going to test it. And it's going to say, like, did you get it correct? So what you're looking for here are all green. If you have any reds, you're not correct yet, and it won't check you off that you've got this one done. So for this one, it says, again, the parameter weekday is true if it's a weekday, and vacation true if it's a vacation. We sleep in if it's not a weekday or we are on vacation. Okay, so we're going to use, pull out some of our if statement stuff. And if, okay, so we sleep in if it's not a weekday. So if weekday is false, or if vacation is true, then we sleep in. It's true, we do sleep in. Else, return false, because we're not sleeping in. And there you get it correct. So, these are the kind of problems you're going to be practicing. They're not, crazy lengthy. They're only a couple lines each. And again, if you get stuck, you can always click on Show Solution. Once you're done with it, you can click back on where it says Warm Up 1. It'll take you back to this. And again, notice that since we're logged in, it keeps track of this, that you did it. You have a little green check mark there. So, what you're going to do in the second lesson is to do the next 4, monkey trouble, sum double, difference 21, pair trouble. You're going to take a screenshot of this page right here, and you're going to upload it to the assessment, if you want to call it that, the file Dropbox in the next lesson. So if you have any problems, let me know. Otherwise, take care.